Hare Krishna. So thank you all so much for joining us and giving us your very valuable association on a regular basis. So we are continuing our series on Srila Prabhupada's special 1000th years, Srila Prabhupada's most often quoted shloka special, which is both Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita shlokas. So since we are going in order, we'll finish off Srimad Bhagavatam first. I'll start with the prayers. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschayatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Yes, Advait, you can recite the first verse.
Okay, Machi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadasya Yadavas Hitatas Tate Subhikta Swarat Tene Brahma Hadaya Adikavaye Yanti Yatsuraya Tejo Varimadam Yata Vinimayo Yatri Sago Vrisa Dhamma Sena Sadat Nisati Kuhukam Satyam Param Dhimahi. Thank you, Mataji.
Very good. So what does the term Dhimahi indicate, right?
Gayatri Mantra, Mataji, that is?
Gayatri Mantra, yes. Indicates the God. What is the meaning of Abhignya?
Abhignya, consonant. What is it?
Correct. Swara?
Independent.
Who is Adi Kavi?
Brahma.
Good. Who are the
Suryas are demigods. Suryas are demigods.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Okay, who wants to go for the second one?
Should I recite, Mataji?
Yeah.
Dharma projita kaitavatra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedam vastavam atru vastu sivadam tapatrayo namulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kimva Parerishwara Sadhyo Ruddha Ruddhate Atra Kriti Bhi Sushubhi Statna.
Very nice. So what is Unmoolanam?
Uprooting.
Nice. Nirmatsara?
Non-enviousness.
Shivadam?
All auspiciousness.
Auspiciousness.
Ishvara?
The Supreme Lord.
Godhead.
Sadhya?
Immediately.
Okay, very nice. Thank you. Someone for the next one?
Nikamakalpataro galitam phalam sukamukadam ridam samyutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvibhavika.
Very good. Shuka? Shuka means?
Parrot.
Pibata?
Drink. Come and drink.
Khalita?
Kalitam. Invitation.
What is it in Hindi? Ghal.
Releasing.
It's actually like,
fruits of desire.
actually ghalitam is to be very heavy with juice, right? So ghalitam.
Oh, juicy like that.
Okay, phalam,
Fruit.
kalpataru.
Desire tree.
Yeah, desire tree.
What is nigama?
Expert. I don't
From
know.
where everything originates. Agman.
You should tell me, Mataji. I don't know.
Try. Someone
What
can
is it, Mataji?
just try.
Try
Read-
yourself.
Try it. Read the translation and try. So nigama kalpatarur, right? So you can guess.
Thoughtful man is there. Religious? I don't know. Mataji, tell me, Mataji. I don't know. I'm just telling all the words from translation.
But would anyone else like to take a shot?
May I, Mataji?
Yeah.
Nigam is something from which everything originates. Means from where everything. In Hindi we say Agman hona. जहाँ से सब कुछ निकलता है. From where everything emits.
So nigama is another word for what?
Vedas means.
Vedas.
Nigama means Vedas. The Vedic literature is called nigama. So nigama. Nigama kalpatarur. So the nigamas are like kalpatarur, right? So they are like desire trees because they fulfill all desires you have. If you read the Vedas, you can, you want to get material benefit, you will get material benefit. If you want to destroy your enemy, you can perform a yajna and destroy your enemy. So the Vedas are like desire trees. So nigama kalpatarur. But the Galitam phalam of that is the scripture that Shuka actually tasted. And that is the Srimad Bhagavatam. And you all come and drink it. You learn it, transcendentalists, please come and drink it. Okay. Next. Anyone wants to try this one?
Mataji, can I?
Okay, I think Tulsi Manjari has been raising her hand for a while. I'll probably give her a chance.
Okay. Apana samsritim ghoram yannamapi vasho grinan tatha sadyo vimuccheta yad pipeti swayambayam.
Very nice, very nice. So what is the meaning, Tulsi Manjari?
Living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified.
Very good. Sadhya vimuccheta yat pipeti swayam bhyayam. Someone for the next one?
Mataji, can I read go?
Yes.
Yatpada samsaya suta munaya prashamayana sadhya punantya praspushta sadhyam apu niveshvayaha.
What is upasprishta?
The sanctify?
That is punanti. What is upasprishta? What is sparshana?
To associate.
To come in touch with, right? Sparsha means to touch. So come in touch. Punanti, purification happens when you come in touch. Okay. What is Swardhuni?
Ganges.
Ganges, very nice. Father?
Lotus feet.
Yeah, very nice. Father's feet. Someone for the next one?
May I, Mataji?
Yes, Bhavna.
त्वं न सन्दर्शितो धात्रा दुस्तरं निस्थितिः सतां कलिं सत्त्वहरं पुंसां कर्णधार इवार्णवम्.
Very nice. Mataji, can you expand on?
Yeah, the first line is Tvam na sandarshito dhatra. Means the sages are saying to in the Naimisharanya forest, the Sud Goswami are saying, the sages are saying to Sud Goswami ji that we have met you with by the will of providence. Sandarshito Dhatra means we got your darshan. Dustaram Nisti Til Satam. That this material ocean is very difficult to cross. Dustaram, it is very difficult. Nisti Til Satam, but those who want to cross this ocean, who has desired to cross this ocean, but in this age of Kalim Sattva Haram Pumsam, that all good qualities have been lost in this age of Kali Yuga. So we have got you as a Kandhar, means as a captain of this ship, who will take us from this, who will help us to cross this ocean of this material world.
Beautiful. Thank you, Marvana Mataji. Very, very nice.
Thank you, Mataji.
Next one, someone?
Shall I, Mataji?
Yes, please.
मुनयः साधु पृष्टोऽहं भवद्भिर्लोकमङ्गलं यत्कृतः कृष्णसम्प्रश्नो येनात्मा सुप्रसीदति.
Mataji, you want to explain the meaning?
Yes, Mataji. So the sages, after asking the questions, he tells that you have been rightly questioned by you, and these questions are worthy because they are for the welfare of the world, Lokamangalam, and related to Krishna, and on Krishna Samprashno. So because of which Enatma Suprisiditi, oneself is completely pleased.
Wonderful. Very, very nice. Thank you so much. Anyone for the next one?
May I, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu.
Save pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti anukshade ahetuki apratihata yatma suprasidati.
Wonderful, Prabhu. Prabhu, meaning?
Yes, Mataji. Our param dharma, the eternal dharma, is to devotion to the adhoksha, who is Lord Krishna, doing devotional service to Lord Krishna. We should be ahetuki, without any hetu, without any purpose, and apratihata, continuous, without any break. Yatma suprasidati, give the eternal happiness to our soul.
Fantastic. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Anyone for the next one? Vasudeve Bhagavati.
Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayat Suvairagyam Jnanam Chayad Ahaitukam. Very nice, Mataji. Mataji, you want to tell the meaning? Yeah. When we take up bhakti, automatically bhakti will brings the vairagya and gives the knowledge. Correct. Correct. Very nice. And bhakti we are doing to Sudeva. Very nice, Mataji. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Yeah, this is the translation. Anyone for Dharma Svanushtitah Pumsam?
Mataji, can I say?
Yeah, Advait, and then the next will be Tulsi Manjri.
Okay. Dharma Svanushtitah Pumsam Visvakshena Katasuyaha Notpadaya Yatvatim Shama Eva Hi Kevalam.
Very good. So who is Vishvaksena, Advait?
Personality of Godhead.
Very good. Rati means what?
Attract.
And Utpatti means na utpadayet means. What is utpadayet and what is na utpadayet?
Does not produce.
Na utpadayet is does not produce. Na means negation. Very
No.
Pumsam.
Humans.
Yes, humans. And dharma?
Dharma is like Dharma, so death or something.
Dharma.
Religiosity. No?
Quality, Mataji. You have explained last time. Sugar quality, speech.
Occupation?
One's occupation.
Yes, all of these are correct. You're right. So it means occupation, religiosity. It also means intrinsic property, quality, like Mataji was saying. So everything is dharma. Anyone wants to do the next one? Dharma. Oh, Tulsi Manjari asked. Okay, go ahead, Tulsi Manjari.
Dharmasya hyapavargasya nartorthayopakalpate nartasya dharmaikantasya kamo labhaya hi smritaha.
Very nice. What is kama?
Desire, material desire.
Labha?
Is it gain, material gain?
Correct. Very nice. And do you remember what apavarga is?
Papa, Baba, Ma.
That is the pavarga. So apavarga means to get out of the pavarga, which is liberation. Very good.
Okay.
So do you remember what is arthaha and artha? How did we define arthaha? I can actually move to the next slide. Yeah. Arthaha and artha. How did they differentiate last time?
We said something ending the artha. One more meaning is like gaining some material gain.
Fantastic. So we'll keep this in mind. Arthaha meaning end, to as the end of something. Okay, we'll keep that in mind for the next verse. Okay. Now 1 to 10. So who wants to repeat? Anyone?
Can I repeat, Mataji?
Okay. Kamasya nendriya preetir.
What is your name is there? Preeti.
Yes.
Kamasyaya nendriya preetir.
Kamasya nendriya preetir.
Kamasya nendriya preetir.
Kamasya nendriya preetir.
Kamasya nendriya preetir.
Kamasya, okay. Kamasaya, no. Kamasya. Kamasya nendriya preetir.
Kamasya nendriya preetir.
Kamasya, no Kamasaya. Kamasya, that's all. Kamasya nendriya preetir.
Kamasya nendriya preetir.
Kamasya nendriya preetir.
Oh, okay. Kamasya nendriya preetir.
No, yeah. Kamasya, yeah. Just Kamasya. Say once, Kamasya.
Kamasya.
Nendriya.
Kamasya nendriya preetir.
Very good.
Okay.
Labo jiveta yavata.
Labo jite yatavaha.
Labo jiveta yavata.
Labo jiveta yavata.
Labo jiveta yavata.
Labo jiveta yavata.
Correct. Jivasya tattva jignasa.
Jivasya tattva jignasya.
Jivasya tattva jignasa.
Jivasya tattva jignasa.
Jivasya tattva jignasa.
Jivasya tattva jignasa.
Narto yascheha karmabhi.
Nato yascheha karmabhi.
Very good. Narto yascheha karmabhi.
Nato yascheha karmabhi.
Narto yascheha karmabhi.
Nato yascheha karmabhi.
Kamasya nendriya preetir.
Kamasya Indriya Priti.
Very good. Labho jiveta yavata.
Lavo Jiveta Yavata.
Kamasya nendriya priti. Labho jiveta yavata.
Kamasya Nendriya Priti. Lavo Jiveta Yavata.
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 Kamasya nendriya priti. Labho jiveta yavata.
Kamasya Nendriya Priti. Lavo Jiveta Yavata.
Jivasya tattva jignasa narto yasceha karma.
Nato yas Jiva yas tattva jignasa. Nato yas cheha kamapi.
जीवस्य तत्त्वजिज्ञासा नार्तो यच्चेह कर्मभिः
Jivasya tattva jignasa. Nato yas cheha kamapi.
कामस्य नेन्द्रियप्रीतिर्लाभो जीवेत यावता जीवस्य तत्त्वजिज्ञासा नार्तो यच्चेह कर्मभिः
Kamasya nandaya priti labo jiveta yavata jivesha tattva jignasa nato yasceha kamabi.
Excellent, very good.
Exactly.
Yes.
Actually, one question: what time does this class end?
Another half an hour? Not even half,
Okay.
20 minutes, okay? 15-20 minutes. Okay, so we can have Bhavana Mataji chant.
Yes, Mataji. कामसेनेन्द्रिय प्रीतिर्लाभो जीवेत यावता जीवस्य तत्त्वजिज्ञासा नार्थो यश्चेह कर्मभिः.
Very nice, Mataji.
Thank you.
Bharat Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. कामस्य नेन्द्रियप्रीति लाभो जीवेत् यावता जीवस्य तत्त्वजिज्ञासा नार्थो यश्चेह कर्मभिः.
Very nice, Prabhu. Thank you. Who is Zoom user? Someone that says Zoom user. Okay. Harita Mataji.
Mataji, Zoom user is someone who uses Zoom.
I know. Harita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yes.
Hari bol.
Kamasya nendriya pritir labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jinasya
Nyasa.
jignasa
Yeah.
narto yasceha karmabhi.
Wonderful. Thank you. Mukund. Mukund is silent today. Something is wrong. Okay. After Mukund, we have Vishnu Priya Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. कामस्य नेन्द्रिय प्रीतिर्लाभो जीवेत यावता जीवस्य तत्त्वजिज्ञासा नार्थो यश्चेह कर्मभिः.
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. Where is Arvinita Mataji?
Yeah, Mataji, I was with Bhakti Sangha name. I did not change.
Yeah.
Kamasya nendriya priti labho jivat yevata jivasya tattva jignasa narto yasche cheha karma bihi.
Kamasya nendriya pada
Priti
labho jivita yevata jivasya
tattva
jignasa nato yasas cheha karmabhihi.
Wonderful, Vrinda. Wonderful. Very nice. Thank you so much. Tulasi Manjari.
Mataji.
Tulasi Manjari.
Okay. Kamasya nendriya pritir labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jijñasa nartho yasceha karma bhihi.
Very good. Now comes our Prabhuji Advait.
Okay. Kamasya nendriya priti lava jiveta yavata jivesva tattva jijnasa nato yasceha karma bhihi.
Excellent, excellent.
Mataji, I forgot, what do we do after this? After the learning sloka?
See the meanings and then we'll go ahead with the explanation, okay? Nitya Narasimha Prabhu. Nitya Narasimha Prabhu is there?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Kamasya nendriya priti labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jijnasa nato yasceha karma bhi. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. And finally, we have the Zoom user who's not unmuting and also Mukund. So if they both are not unmuting, we'll go forward and we'll try to understand a few words so everyone can answer. What is kama?
Material desires.
Indriya?
Senses.
Senses.
Na indriya?
No senses.
Not by senses or no senses. Nendriya. So na indriya, if you do sandhi, it's nendriya. So kamasya, okay, kamasya from kama, nendriya, na indriya. Okay, what happens to the indriya? What is preeti?
Love.
Love. Yeah. Or anything else close to love? Yes, actually, love is
affection.
Affection. Okay, okay. Or, satisfaction, affection. Yes, correct. All of them are correct. Exact meaning is preeti is love, but it can depend on the context. Okay, so something like the indriyas are getting preeti, they're getting satisfied, they're getting love, or they're getting happiness.
Gratification.
Yeah, gratification. Perfect. Okay, labha.
Benefit.
Jiveta.
Individual soul.
Individual soul's existence. Okay, yavata. Okay, it should be for that, for existence. Jivasya tattva jijnasa. What is tattva jijnasa? What is
very inquisitive?
Correct. You're right. Go ahead, Prabhu. Finish that. Inquiring?
Tattva jijnasa is inquiry with intelligence.
Yeah, about the tattva. Inquiring about the tattva or the absolute truth. Okay.
Absolute truth.
Yeah. Na artha.
No meaning.
Nartha, end, right? Remember, na artha. Okay. Yes, cheha karma bihi. By what is karmas?
Our activities.
Activities, yes. So now, can someone read the translation?
Life desire should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation. Since a human being is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth, nothing else should be the goal of one's works.
Okay, wonderful. So we see life's desires should never be directed towards sense gratification. Kamasya nendriya preetir. Okay, so the desire, kama, should never be directed towards what? Na indriya preeti, for sense gratification. Gratification, as Mataji was telling. So kamasya nendriya preetir. But then what should we do? One should desire for self-preservation. Okay, labho jiveta yavata. Okay, the labha is only for self-preservation. Satisfaction of senses should be only for self-preservation. And then what is the role of the jiva if life is just for the sake of maintenance, you're satisfying your desire, then what is the purpose of life? We are thinking purpose of life is sense gratification, right? That's what we think. But what is the purpose of life? Jivasya tattva jijnasa. You should inquire unto the Supreme. Atato brahma jijnasa. Remember, that is the first verse of the Vedanta Sutras. Now that you are here, inquire unto the Supreme. Atato brahma jijnasa. Brahma means the Supreme Lord, or tattva jijnasa. And understand the absolute truth. That is tattva jijnasa. Na artha. Nartho, yes, cheha karma bihi means nothing else. Okay, na artha. Nothing else should be the end. Nothing else should be the goal of one's works, of one's karma bihi, of one's works. So that's what this meaning, this sentence, this verse means, and you all already got it. So here is the word to word meanings. Kamasya is desires, naha is not, indriya is senses, priti is satisfaction, labha is gain, jiveta for self-preservation, yavata so much so, okay, just for that. Jivasya of the living entities, tattva the absolute truth, jignyasa inquiries, na not, arthaha end, like we saw in the previous verse. Yaha cha iha, who whatsoever else, okay, other than this nothing else. So like that, yacha iha, okay, yache, yes cheha. If you join them together, yaha cha iha, yes cheha, karma bihi, by occupational activities. So basically, even if you identify 4 or 5 words in the shloka, you can understand the meaning of the shloka. You just identify kama, indriya, jiveta, tattva jignyasa, karma bihi. You'll understand what the shloka is trying to tell us. Okay, life's desire. Yeah.
Can you see my photo?
Pokemon, yeah.
Why are you watching Pokemon during class?
I know. Everyone is watching Pokemon. Okay. Life's desire should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should not think that the ultimate desire or the existence is only for sense gratification. One should desire only what we need a life, right? We need to satisfy our senses. It is all required. One should eat, one should exist for self-preservation. It is required. We are not telling we have to relinquish it. It is required. But do it as much as it is required only. But don't focus your goal for sense gratification. Goal should be for inquiry unto the absolute. Nothing else should be the goal of one's life. So when this verse is spoken, actually, if you remember, we did a summary in our previous class of how these verses were spoken. These verses were, told before talking about the highest goal of life. First, the regular varnashrama dharma or just doing mundane religiosity is a little condemned, right? In the set of verses, even the previous verse also, mundane religiosity we saw was condemned. Dharmasya hi apavargasya narto arthayopakalpate. So all occupational engagements are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. It should not be performed for material gain. That is the series of verses. So again, about people who are just using life for sense gratification. So that is condemned again and again. And this is one of the other verses that condemns people who just use their senses, sense gratification, and forget about inquiry unto the absolute truth. So now here in this verse, there is one key, tattva jignyasa. This key is going to lead us to the next verse, which is extremely important, one of the most important verses of Bhagavatam, which we will do in the next class. So just remember this phrase, tattva jignyasa. So we are going to define what absolute truth is in our next session. I just have one visual cue for you here. So, in this verse, the recommendation is that just don't live life for sense gratification. Utilize your life for a higher purpose. And just satisfy your senses for the sake of preservation, for the sake of self-preservation, to keep the body and soul together. So that is the recommendation given in this verse. So one may now ask, okay, if I'm going to focus so much on the ultimate purpose of life, if I just have to do tattva jignyasa, will my senses automatically be fulfilled and will it be satisfied? So that is the discussion that is there throughout the purport. But towards the end of purport, Srila Prabhupada, he writes this. In every sphere of life, therefore, the ultimate end must be seeking after the absolute truth. And that sort of engagement will actually make one very happy because he will be less engaged in the varieties of sense gratification. This is actually a very powerful statement. So once we are engaged, our mind, body, soul, everything is engaged in the service of the Lord, The lower propensities, the lower needs for sense gratification are actually automatically satisfied. We don't hanker after it. It is automatically put under control. Just like when you develop a higher taste, right? Bhagavad Gita says, once you develop a higher taste, the lower tastes actually vanish. They gradually go away. So param drishtva nivartate. This is a verse from Bhagavad Gita as well. So the same point is being made here. So focus your life on the absolute truth, because that is what is going to make you ultimately happy. And once you focus on that, you will be less engaged in sense gratification, because naturally that taste actually disappears from us. So don't make a separate endeavor only for the sake of sense gratification. Yes, senses have to be gratified, but that is for the sake of preservation. But our focus should be tattva jignasa. So here is an analogy for high.
I'm watching the movie in 3D goggles.
With blue and red, very nice. Okay, so here is an analogy for higher taste, milk and sugar. So if your kids, I don't know how many kids in the US especially, people are very conscious about giving sugar to children. But traditionally, when we were all growing up, we would be given milk with sugar, right? So if a child is used to drinking milk with sugar, and that child one day is given milk without sugar, will the child relish it? No. No, you cannot.
Same me, Mataji. I don't like milk without sugar because I got so used to milk with sugar.
So that is a higher taste. You've tasted something higher, right? So for you to go back to lower propensities, it's like, I don't want this. So that is the natural process. The more we are engaged in tattva jignasa, an inquiry unto the absolute truth, our lower propensities are automatically distasteful, and they're all naturally satisfied. And we use them. It's not that we give up, doing the basic activities that have to satisfy our senses. We continue to do them, but that is only for the sake of preservation, self-preservation. Okay, there's no attachment to it. Okay, I hope it made sense. The verse makes sense, and you're able to identify words and kind of memorize the verse. So before we end, everyone can, whoever wants, can take a chance to recite.
Kamasya nendriya priti lavo jiveta yavata jivesha tattva jignasa nato yasceha karmabhi.
Mukund?
Yes, Hare Krishna. Kamasya nendriya priti labhato jivata ya labho jiveta yavata jivasya jigyasa nato yasceha karmabhi.
Very good. Tulsi Manjari?
Kamasya nendriya pritirlabho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jignasa nartho yasceha karmabhihi.
Very nice. Tulsi Manjari, we don't have to say jignasa, we can just say jignasa. Okay?
Okay, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mataji, I went back in time.
Went back in time. Wow.
I'm all black and white.
Anyone else among the adults?
Kamasya nendriya prita labho. I'm sorry, I'm not able to see that. Labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jignasa nartho yasceha karmabhi.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Anyone else?
May I, Mataji?
Yes, Bhavana.
कामस्येन्द्रिय प्रीतिर्लाभो जीवेत यावता जीवस्य तत्त्वजिज्ञासा नार्थो यश्चेह कर्मभिः.
Nice, very nice.
Mataji, I have one doubt. When we speak jignasa, so is it not jigyasa? Means in Hindi it is gear.
Yeah.
Then
So this is a gray area. So I've heard some seminars about this. It's a gray area. It kind of depends on us, on certain dialects that are spoken. So jigyasa or jignyasa, these are all acceptable. Yeah, these are all kind
Okay,
of.
Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
But we don't.
I want to recite, Mataji, but you are speaking something. Please continue.
No, that's it. That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Kamasya inendriya priti labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jignasa narto yascheha karma bihi.
Very nice. Very nice. Wonderful. Yeah. Anyone else?
May I, Mataji?
Yeah. Yes.
कामस्य नेन्द्रिय प्रीति लाभो जीवित यावत जीवस्य तत्व जिज्ञासा नार्थो यच्च कर्मभिः.
Very nice. Thank you.
Thanks,
Let's hear
Mataji.
some of you.
Mataji, actually, I have a question. If everyone completed.
Go ahead, Prabhu. Ask your question.
Mataji, I want some elaboration on that. One should desire only healthy life or self-preservation. And the last, nothing else should be the goal of one's work. I think once.
Life, yeah. One's
So
work.
could you kindly elaborate that, Mataji, how to, as a grahasthas, as a sadhakas?
Yeah, it's difficult, first of all. So there are two things here. First of all, we acknowledge that we have senses and the senses need gratification. Okay. So we acknowledge that we have a tongue, we have a stomach, we have to feed ourselves. But we are not saying that we'll stop everything, right? So we don't want to do the process of elimination, neti neti. I will give up everything and I will only focus on the absolute. Our philosophy is use it. It's okay. Senses are meant to be used. So use them in the service of Krishna, dovetail them. And when you dovetail them, you engage in a process that is higher and hence the lower propensities are automatically satisfied. So that is our process. That is what is recommended in the process of bhakti. So that's why here it's saying these senses are there, but life's focus should not be desire of senses. Why is life's focus like that? Why do we think that the end of life is like that? Because we are entangled in this. It's continuation of the previous verse. So occupational engagements, they are resulting in material profit, right? So dharma is resulting in artha. And why do we need artha? For kama, for enjoyment of the senses, right? So one thinks that the purpose of life is kama, just enjoying senses. Live, enjoy, be happy. That's it. That's the goal of life. I have to go, I have to do my duty, I have to earn money. I cannot eat the money. With that money, what will I do? I will eat food, I will enjoy. I will have a nice house, I'll enjoy my senses. So if you look at it, most of us, for us, the goal of life is enjoyment of senses. Whether we do it in a very gross sense or in a subtle sense, ultimately that is our purpose. Okay, but here it is Shukdev Goswami is telling, don't think that that is the purpose of life. Okay, we are so entangled in this that we are just doing dharma, artha, and it's resulting in kama. We're just doing it again and again and again and again, and we are getting entangled in it. We are forgetting that there is something else beyond this. So in this verse, we see moksha is there. Okay, moksha is there. Moksha need not necessarily mean only a suspended state, meaning I get liberated from the entanglements of this world. I understand that this world is entangling. Just sense gratification is going to put me birth after birth in this material world. So let me get rid of everything. Let me just get away from anything of this world. So that is a suspended state. That is some sort of a moksha, meaning just getting liberated from the problem. That is moksha. But actually here in the next verse, there is some more clarification on what really moksha is. You should do tattva jignasa. You should try to understand the absolute truth. When you understand the absolute truth, automatically the rest of it is taken care of. And the verse after that defines the absolute truth in 3 features, and it talks about Bhagavan as being the complete feature of the Supreme Lord. So each of these verses are connected like that. So the goal of one's works, okay, whatever you're doing in this life, whatever we do, we should remember that it should be dovetailed in the process of Krishna consciousness so that we can understand that ultimate tattva, Krishna. We should be able to understand him. Just satisfying our senses is not the goal of life, but rather one should satisfy the senses. Indriya Priti is required. Why? For the sake of preservation. Our senses need some food, right? Like, for example, when you have senses, you just cannot suspend the senses. They need to be satisfied for the sake of preservation, for the sake of living. Especially we need to eat so that we can survive. Okay, so like that, it is required for survival, but that is not the goal. Something else is the goal. Something that is eternal is the goal. Did that make sense, Prabhu?
Yeah, Mataji. Just on the healthy life, if you can elaborate, fine. Because nowadays we can see, Mataji, even the great Maharajas, they are also like healthy means, I mean to say physical health. They are the great acharyas, but their health is not good. So, okay, we devotees, we understand, but for newly coming people, they feel different. They say that, okay, you are teaching, you are preaching, everything good, but your health is not good. So how to answer such people, Mataji?
I think most of the great sannyasis are on a strict diet all the time. They don't eat any junk and they are so strict in their diet, right? They really take care of preservation for the sake of preaching, self-preservation for the sake of preaching. So if, I mean, I don't see any of the sannyasis like really eating junk or something, or not worrying about their health. Everyone is very conscious because they know that preservation is very important for them to do sustained preaching. But if someone feels like that, someone feels that you're not following a particular, exercise regime, or you're not keeping healthy, then the point again driven here is that it's just for this healthy life is also just for self-preservation. That is the focus. If the preservation is met, then why worry about the intricacies of healthy life, right? How you're maintaining the healthy life, that doesn't matter. They are having a clean Ayurvedic diet so that they can continue to preach without a problem, because every 3 days they are traveling and they have a very tough life. So they do have diets and they follow those diets and they proceed, they go on. But they may not be following a healthy diet the way the world sees healthy diets should be. The world may think that, oh, you should eat in this particular fashion, so much portion control, and you should be exercising 2 hours a day. The world has certain views about healthy life, but great acharyas, they maintain a healthy life only for the sake of preservation, self-preservation. Maybe we can answer like that.
And also, this sense gratification, Srila Prabhupada uses maybe millions of times. This what is the, and also here kama. Is it the desire or is it the lust, Mataji?
No, it is just desire. Kama in general is desire. Depending on context, we should take the meaning. Yeah.
Okay. And this sense gratification is like motherhood statement, Mataji. What does exactly meaning of sense gratification?
Indriya Priti, sense gratification means each of our senses have to be satisfied, right? So the tongue has to be, there is something, the eyes, the tongue, these are all not without a purpose. Everything has a purpose. They have to be satisfied. They cannot be just left unengaged. So sense gratification or sense engagement, that is also a good definition or a good translation. Sense engagement, sense gratification, happiness of the senses. Is that what you're asking from?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Anyone else has anything to add or ask? Okay. Then we can end the call and we'll meet again next week with a very important verse. And I don't know if Suksagri Mataji will be back next week, but then it's a very important verse. So either her or myself will be back again. Okay. So thank you all.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much for the class. So
Mataji, last week you said you will share something. I also forget some Sandarbhas, something you said.
Sandarbha, you asked for a link, right?
Yes, you said you have that. You have covered in the previous sessions or something.
Oh,
Some Sandarbhas, Sat Sandarbhas. Yeah.
Yeah, I can send the seminar links of Tattva Sandarbha. I'll probably send a couple of links covered by two Maharajas. You can hear. I forgot to send. So, shall I send it on the group, or you want me to text you separately, Prabhu, or what?
Whichever is comfortable for you, Mother.
Okay, I'll send those links.
Thank you, Mother. Great.
Hare Krishna.
We can offer our obeisances to Mataji and all the assembled devotees. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyeva chakritanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo nama. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grace Priti Vilasni Mataji ki jai. Thank you everyone for joining. We'll meet again next week. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.